Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Mompreneur Truth Talks. Today, I have Christina Case. She is a grief coach and founder of Rising Together Collaborative, which I just love that name so much. Welcome, Christina.
Yeah, thank you. I'm so happy to be back on your stage. It's lovely to see you.
Yay. I know it's
Yeah,
been a little while, and I wanted to touch base with you again because I adore you, number one. And
I
number
do.
two, I love what you are bringing to the world and the impact that you are having because grief is universal. Everyone is going to feel grief at
Yes.
some point in their lives, and we need support through that. And so I'm glad that you are helping people. So I have lots of things to ask you.
Okay,
I'm going to
beautiful.
jump right in.
Let's do it.
Tell me, yeah, about Rising Together Collective, please.
So I really started this as kind of the umbrella for on the business side, kind of the umbrella for all of the services that I offer. But what the real driving mission and passion behind it is that when I was in I refer to it as my grief spiral, but this is a period of several years where I was just really in my grief and like in loss. And so I couldn't see out of it. Right. And I tried to find support and I couldn't find it. I couldn't find it in the way that helped me to grow through my grief. There are lots of grief support groups out there, right? And all kinds of support groups for domestic violence and things like this. And often they help you with the action steps, right? And they help you in sitting in that space of grief and feeling connected with other people. But then oftentimes you're left with like, well, what do I do with that? You know? And so that's why I created this Rising Together Collective, because I wanted to create a safe space where people not only come together to share in their grief and to support each other and hold each other in loving support that way, but also to really encourage each other to embrace what this journey is bringing for them and what the bigger message of the grief is, right? Because it's beyond just this surface part of it. And it's about supporting people and seeing them rise up through all of this darkness into their full passion, into their life again, to see them sparkling in their eyes and smiling. It's really powerful. And when we do it together, it happens faster, it happens with more confidence, it happens with more ease, and then we build a community, and those ripples spread so far beyond what we do, in just our individual work. So
Oh my gosh.
I do it.
Love this. Can you see why I adore her? Because this is such important work. And for you, I'm sorry if you all can hear the gardener outside. Of course that is happening right this second. But anyway, we're going to just push on through because that's what we do as
Perfectly
moms.
imperfect. Yes.
Perfectly imperfect. That is, yes, that is life. So, how do you, because you are holding space for such big emotions, and how do you take care of you through this process?
There has been quite a learning process in all of this, in figuring out how to take care of myself. One of the things that we talked about last year that I still am very active in is hiking and trail running. And really now, even more so, it has evolved into this real deep connection with myself and with nature and with allowing the flow, right? Because if I get caught up in what's happening in my clients' lives and all of that, I can't properly help them. I can't do that. And so I need to make sure I'm aligned in my balance so that I can present in that way. So I do spend a lot of time like out by the river and just talking to nature and talking to the river and imagining things being, visualization is a big part of subconscious work. And so it's beyond imagination, right? We're creating new memories when we do this kind of work, but it's about like visualizing all of these energies and emotions and feelings and allowing myself to be the vessel that they flow through and not get caught up, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah. And giving it back to the universe to do with that energy, to transmute it for the higher collective, right? So that it
Yes.
doesn't come into mine. Yeah.
Absolutely. I do. I should be doing that more. There's one of those shoulds, I know. But yeah, when I do a group event, I will always have to go stand in my grass afterward and
Yes.
release and give it to
Yes.
Mother Earth. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's so
Because
important.
yeah. So I'm glad that you do that for yourself because I feel that a lot of mompreneurs, just moms in general, we take on so much and we carry so much for everyone else. And a lot of times we forget about ourselves and our needs until something goes, haywire.
Yeah, 100%. I completely agree with that. I think too, it's all about surrendering to the flow and things as well, because, like we talked briefly before the start of this call, but I was going through some things earlier this year, and it got to the point for me that I needed to take a step back from doing my events because I really needed to focus on coming into a grounded space within myself. I was giving too much and not being that vessel. I was taking it all on, and I do think that as moms, we and women, and I mean just as humans in general, I think as entrepreneurs, we tend to have to be able to do it all. And if we're not taking our care of our bodies and our spirits and our souls first, the rest will crumble. So it is so important.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm. And that I completely agree with you. And I need those reminders kind of all the
Me
time
too.
when I'm,
Me too.
yeah, right. Almost daily.
Right.
Because you just get going in the hustle. And
Yeah.
then, like, wait a minute, that is not flow. That is not where I want to be. That is not
Yes.
good. Yes.
Yes. And it's breaking those patterns too, because we've been taught that to get ahead in the world, you've got to put your bootstraps on and you've got to hustle and you've got to work hard and you've got to do. But when we're actually in flow, it doesn't look that way and it doesn't feel that way. Although we might be very, very active, right? It comes with ease, not with force. And I think that that's really important.
Yeah. Oh, such a much better way to live. And when you said to me, I asked some questions before everyone. So she said to me, making decisions from heart and body rather than ego. And I highlighted that because I love that so much. That is ease and flow as well. Can you
Yeah,
talk a little bit about how you do that?
absolutely. This has also been quite the learning process for me because I have made, I mean, it's always a learning process for everybody. Um, but in the beginning of my business, and I'm going to relate this to business directly for the entrepreneur moms out there, but I kept hearing all of these coaches that would tell me, like, yeah, you can absolutely get those high ticket clients in 30 days. Just $10,000. Join my program. We'll get you there. No problem. No problem. No problem. And I joined a few of those. And it was because I was driving my business from a place of success in numbers, success in dollars, success in number of clients, as opposed to success in really reaching people and transforming lives and making change. And so now when I get in that space, for one of the biggest lessons that I've learned this year is that if I am confused about my action, then I need to stop and not take action until I find clarity. Because if I'm confused, then other people are influencing my field and I'm not acting from my heart or for what my true desires are. And it gives me chills just to say that because that is such a powerful message. And I had heard other people say it in the past and things along those lines, but I feel that I've really been able to embody that, like just slowing down, taking the, yeah, exactly, Lisa, taking the breath, like what is my body actually feeling right now? Is this an excited in my tummy, or is this oh, I am really nervous? And sometimes you have to push through the nervous because that's your edge, right? And that's the
Mm-hmm.
breakthrough. But sometimes the nervous is telling you, like, just breathe through it for a bit.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and then, I do a lot of like closing the eyes also. That is a really big somatic way for you to get out of your conscious mind and into your unconscious if you just close your eyes. Because when we look up and we look out all these directions, you're like, it's your brain is searching for the answer somewhere in your memory bank instead of in your body and your spirit, right? So we close the eyes and then you can feel it. And I
Mm.
really love that practice. One of my favorite coaches taught that to me this year. So
That is fantastic. It's so needed. And moving it back to grief, like, what a great way to feel the grief as you process the grief so you're not holding on to it and you can move through it, because it's so easy to push it away. I'm
yeah,
not going to deal with that. I'm fine. Everything's fine. It's not fine when you're hurting.
right. Absolutely. And teaching or leading, not really teaching or leading, those, neither of those are the right word, but just um demonstrating for clients and for anybody how to, like, just slow it down. Just slow it down. It's okay, because there's no rush for any of it. We're all exactly where we're meant to be. And when you can really surrender into that knowing, it's okay if you have slow months. It's okay if you have months where you don't do anything work related, like, feel yourself, feel your heart, go spend a month vacationing. It's okay.
Oh, that sounds so lovely.
I know. I'm still
Like,
waiting for that month vacation too, just announcing that. Like, although I am claiming it as well.
okay,
University.
well, I will claim it with you. Let me just get these kids pay for college, not pay, help
Right.
pay. They have jobs, thank you. But yes, that sounds so good.
Yeah.
Just to be for a little
Just to
bit.
be. Just to be.
Yeah.
And even in business, trying to practice just being, because the truth is, we don't have to leave our space to do it. We don't have to leave our space to connect with nature. We don't have to, even if you live in the middle of a city, right? You can still, where there's no grass available, you can still walk outside and look up at the sky.
Yes. Yep. So many different ways to connect and to ground. Yes.
Yeah.
Agreed. Yeah. So when you are leading these, are they groups, events? What do you call them?
Yeah. So I call them events, workshops. Yes. So
Mhm.
I lead grief workshops on average about once a month. And in these workshops, really ti- the topics vary, always about grief
Mhm.
and moving through grief. But typically, we talk a lot about just coming to an acceptance of where you are in the grief journey,
Mhm.
and we do some process work. So there's some, action steps that we have within the workshop. So you come and you spend time with me and we get some clarity about where you are in your journey, and you'll get some tools to help you in that grief and to help you to feel it. I don't think that we're really taught how to feel the emotions that come with grief. We're told the 5 steps, but honestly, the 5 steps are not it. And so we need to learn how to sit with it and how to feel it and what it means to actually process. You hear people say all the time, process your emotions. But what does that mean?
How? If you don't know?
Exactly. Right. So we start with that in the workshops. And then there's always the opportunity, if you want to work further with me, then we talk about the options there. Um, I typically do just one day, like 90-minute workshops, but occasionally I'll put on a 5-day event. And so those are much more, in depth and also very transformative. I really believe
Yeah.
that grief is a portal for us. It's beyond transformation, because when we are in this space where it can often be the darkest moments of somebody's life, this is when we are in that existential crisis of like, who am I and why am I here and what am I here to do? And that's what loss brings us to all of that questioning. And so when you view it as this portal for creation, um, it becomes really this soft, magical, beautiful experience instead of something painful that you have to run from.
Hmm.
So that's what
It's
we
such
talk
a,
about in my workshops.
yeah. And I have attended one, and it was so beautiful the way you
Mhm.
held space for everyone. You don't have to have your camera
Thank you.
on. You can be whatever you need to be in that moment because there are a lot of
Absolutely.
emotions, but you were so supportive. And I could just feel the collective energy of love and safety
Mm,
and calm through this storm that each individual was dealing with. But you did it so well, and it was so beautiful. Now I have the chills
thanks.
because to be able to offer that is changing the world, by
Yeah.
helping people, like you said earlier. It is a ripple effect because once they can move through that, they can go help others. And that's so
Yeah.
nice. Yeah. And I
And
also
what's
appreciate
really
you saying, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. Go ahead. I'll follow up. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I also appreciate you saying that you don't move through the steps, whatever the steps that they tell you
Yeah.
of grief.
Yeah.
Because when you're in that grief, like when my dad died, I expected I was going to be here and then I was going to be here. And
Right.
really, you're all over the place, and then you're hard on yourself for not being in whatever stage it is that you're supposed to be in. And that's
Yeah.
ridiculous. You don't do that with anything else.
Right. Right. This is so true. And we do put those expectations on ourselves. Like, what's wrong with me? And often I find that in these workshops, a lot of people come into it feeling like there's something wrong with them because they're still in this place of sadness where people around them have seemingly moved on. And
Mhm.
so yeah, it is about unwrapping those expectations, and just that's why we talk so much about acceptance, because if you're trying to live up to an expectation, you'll never work through the grief. That's the truth. Yeah.
So true. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, where can people find out more about you and your work and work with you and join your events and workshops and all the
Absolutely.
things?
So my website is the risingtogethercollective.com. On that website, you'll find my services, and I'll have my events posted, things along those lines. You can also follow me on social media. It's just my personal page. So it's Christina.Case and the number one, for Facebook. And then for Instagram, it's CDC Travels. And the best place, if you really just want to know about the events, aside from the website, but to follow me and get notifications on my events, is through Eventbrite. I host all of my events on Eventbrite, and that's Christina Case Coaching.
Sorry, my kid walked in.
That's okay. That's what I thought.
Yeah, I was like, shh, 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 I'm recording. There we go. That's mom life also. I
Right?
love it. So lots of ways to find you. I love that you
Yes.
promote your workshops and events on Eventbrite because then you're reaching more people and opening it up to more,
Yeah.
and which is what we need. So that's really great. And yes, I'm going to put all of those in the show notes. And it's always so lovely to chat with you.
Oh,
Love the
you
work that
too.
you're doing.
Thank you. I love the work
Yes.
that you're doing. And thank you for having me on.
Yes. And I would love to bring you back again because I think, well, I know that there are so many ways that we can explore not only grief, but like you said, like that collective consciousness and just getting into your heart and your body and your soul more than just the ego and the hustle and what we should be doing.
Yeah. I'd love it. Let's do it.
Yay, great. All right. Well, thank you so much. And we will see you all next time on Mompreneur Truth Talks.
Bye.
Thank you for spending time with me today in Mompreneur Truth Talks. Before you go, please do me a quick favor. If this episode spoke to you, please like, follow, or leave a review. Your feedback helps other ambitious moms find these conversations about designing a business and life that work together. All right, moms, I'll see you next time. And remember, success isn't about sacrifice or balance. It's about creating harmony and taking action steps that feel right for you.